Yes, all of my family is still in Ukraine, and my mother, my father, my grandmother, my cousins are in Lutsk, Ukraine, which is a western part of Ukraine, close to Belarusian border and Polish border. So I've been worried for my family. I've been staying in touch with my parents every day, with my mom. Yesterday, had a hard conversation with mom. She had to tell me, Vira, you have to take care of yourself because dad and I may die in this war. And every conversation feels like potentially a lost conversation. So we're trying to shower each other with love and tenderness, and not knowing exactly what might happen. In the same time, I'm so proud of my parents. My father is very supportive of Ukrainians and Ukrainian army, and he volunteers his time and resources with many other men in my hometown. They've been collecting donations to bring them to the places where the war is happening actively right now. My parents witnessed explosions as well on the first day of the war last week, and of course it shook everybody to the core. Again, in the same time, I'm just so proud of their spirit, and at first I didn't quite understand their choices because of course we were offering resources to support them, to maybe get them tickets to come here or maybe move somewhere in Europe. And my husband and his family, who are Americans, actually were offering a lot of support around that. However, my parents chose to stay, and it's their decision, and I really respect it. Mom said, I have to stay, I have to support dad. If I moved, I don't think I could be at peace. And she said, being here actually and supporting him actually gives me a sense of peace and confidence. They live in Lutsk, Volynska Oblast, Volyn region, in more western Ukraine.
And so they live near the border of Belarus, right?
Not too far, yes, not too far. And it appears that the bombings that they had in their hometown were by the rockets from Belarus. We have been able to use our phones, and internet is working in their hometown. We had concerns, what if we are not able to use these resources? My grandmother has a landline, so I've been calling her as well on that. It's a legitimate concern. Thankfully right now we're able to communicate, and however, I've been facilitating in the past 6 days classes in resiliency to trauma and emotional regulation to a group of Ukrainian educators in the midst of this adversity. And it was actually an effort, it was and it is an effort that is led by Trauma Resource Institute out of California. And Miss Elaine Miller-Karras, she is the leader of that organization, and we are working in partnership with a Ukrainian organization called Ed Camp Ukraine, Educational Camp Ukraine. And over the past 5 days, we've been working with different sizes of groups of Ukrainians. Sometimes there may be 100 on the Zoom call, sometimes there may be 30 on the Zoom call. However, they live stream and record the sessions, and we actually touched over 10,000 people with our webinars. And sometimes during the class we would be teaching one of the participants from Ukraine would turn their camera on, and you could hear the bombings, and they would be joining from shelters and bunkers. Right now, it's not just about Ukraine. It's about the entire world. And I was watching President Biden's speech last night, and it was so touching to see so many politicians to be there supporting Ukraine, wearing Ukrainian colors, blue, yellow. And again, I think that we're so fortunate right now to have President Biden in this administration, because I think the situation would be much, much worse for Ukrainians if he wasn't the man in power right now offering the support that he does.